Welcome to Science Era. In this video, we are going to discuss appendages of skin, homeostatic imbalance of the skin, and development aspects of the skin and body membrane. Starting with the appendages of skin, we're going to describe the distribution and function of epidermal appendages, sebaceous glands, sweat glands, hair, and nails. Skin appendages, as we said earlier, include cutaneous gland, hair and hair follicles, and nails. Each of these appendages arise from the epidermis and plays a unique role in the body homeostasis. Starting with the cutaneous gland. Cutaneous gland are all exocrine glands that release their secretion to the skin surface via ducts. They fall into two groups, sebaceous gland and sweat glands. Starting with sebaceous gland. Sebaceous glands are also known as oil gland. They are found in all over the body except for the palms of hand and soles of the feet. Ducts, they almost most of their ducts empty into a hair follicle. Some opens directly onto a skin surface. Sebum is the mixture of greasy substance and broken cells produced by a sebaceous gland. It also acts as a lubricant that keeps skin supple and moist, also preventing brittle hair. Sebum also includes bacteria-killing compound, making it essential for avoiding skin infection. When androgens are created in greater quantities during adolescence, the sebaceous gland become exceedingly active. As a result, throughout this stage of life, the skin tends to get oilier. Next, we have sweat glands. Sweat glands are of two types: sweat glands and apocrine sweat glands. Serine glands are have merocrine secretion, empty directly onto the skin surface, location most all over the body, abundant on palms and sole. Clear water secretion which contain 99% of water and rest NaCl plus some waste product. Apocrine sweat glands empty into hair follicle. The location of apocrine sweat glands are armpits, growing in nipples. Viscous cloud secretion, good nutrient source of the bacteria because of the odor. Secretion may contain pheromones. Secretion begins at puberty and is stimulated during the emotional distress. Then we have hair and hair follicles. Hair is an epithelial structure with lot of flexibility. Root is the portion of hair that is enclosed in hair follicle, while shaft is a portion of hair that protrude from the scalp or the skin. The well-nourished stratum basal epithelial cell in the matrix of hair bulb at the deep end of the follicle divide to generate more hair. Daughter cells get keratinized and perish when they are pushed further away from the developing zone. As a result, most of the hair shaft, like most of the epidermis, is composed virtually completely of dead material. Hair is smooth, silky, and wavy when hair shaft is oval. Hair is waxy, straight when hair shaft is flat or ribbon-like. Hair is kinky. The hair is straight. If it is spherical, it has a rough texture. Hair follicles. Compound structure make up hair follicles. The hair is formed by inner epithelial root sheet, which is made up of epithelial tissue. Dermal connective tissue makes up the outer fibrous sheath. This dermal area nourishes and protects the epidermal layer by supplying the blood vessels. The blood supply to the matrix of the hair bulb is provided by its nipple-like hair papilla, the deepest part of the follicle. The erectopili or hair razor are little bands of smooth muscle cells that connect either side of the hair follicle to the dermal tissue. When these muscles contract, as when we are cold or scared, the hair is pulled upright, causing goosebumps on the skin surface. Then we have nails. A nail is a scale-like epidermal alteration that resembles a hoof or a claw in the other animals. A free edge, a body, visibly attached section, and a root are all features of each nail embedded in the skin. Nail folds overlap the nail's boundaries. The cuticle refers to outer border of the thick proximal nail fold. As the nail bed, The epidermis stratum basale extend beneath the nail. The nail matrix, which is thicker at its proximal end, is responsible for the nail growth. Nail cells are extensively keratinized and perish as a result of matrix reduction. As a result, like hairs, nails are primarily made of non-living material. Because of the abundant blood flow in the underlying dermis, nails are transparent and practically colorless, but they appear pink. The lunulae, which appear as a white crescent above the thicker nail matrix, is an exception to the rule. When blood supply of oxygen is inadequate in the skin, the nail beds take a cyanotic appearance, or the blue color as we say. Then this was all for the appendages of skin. Now we're going to discuss the homeostatic imbalance of the skin. We're going to look at the degrees of burn, first, second, third, and fourth degree of burns, and what are the factors that differentiate these burns types. Then we're going to explain the importance of the rule of 9. Then in the end, we're going to summarize the characteristic of basal cell carcinoma, squamous cell carcinoma, and malignant melanoma. Homeostatic imbalance is visible on the skin in forms of infection and allergies. Infection and allergies cause the common skin disorder, which include number 1, athlete's foot, which is a condition that affects athlete. An infection with fungus Tinea pedis cause an itchy red peeling condition of the skin between the toes. The second disorder is carbuncles or furuncles. Inflammation of hair follicles and surrounding tissue causes boils, which mostly typically occur on the dorsal neck. Carbuncles are boil clusters caused by a bacteria, Staphylococcus. Then we have fever blisters, sores caused by a common cold. Human herp virus 1 infection causes little fluid filled blister that itch and burn. The virus settles in a cutaneous nerve and remain latent until it is triggered by emotional stress, fever, UV radiations. Cold sores generally appear around the lips and in the mouth and nose mucosa. Contact dermatitis is a type of dermatitis that occurs when someone comes uh, itching, redness, and swelling of the skin with blistering as a result. It is caused by skin contact with substance that includes induced allergic reaction in sensitive people. Impetigo. Lesions that are pink, fluid filled, elevated, and form a yellow crust before rupturing, common in primary school aged children, caused by extremely contagious Staphylococcus or Streptococcus infection. Psoriasis. They are itchy, burning, cracking, and bleeding epidermal sores coated in dry, silvery scales. Psoriasis is a chronic autoimmune ailment in which a person's immune system assaults their own tissue, causing rapid overproduction of skin cells. Trauma, infection, hormone changes, or stress are all known to induce attack. Psoriasis can be embarrassing if it is severe. Burns. There are few threats to life more serious than burns. A burn is a tissue damage and a cell death caused by intense heat, electricity, UV radiation, or certain chemicals which denature protein and cause cell death in an affected areas. When skin is burned and its cells are destroyed, two life-threatening problems may result. First, without an intact boundary, the body loses its precious supply of fluid containing proteins and electrolyte as these seep from the burn surface. And the second is dehydration and electrolyte balance can lead to the shutdown of kidneys and circulatory shock, which is the inadequate circulation of the blood caused by a low blood volume. To save the patient, lost fluid must be replaced immediately, and the volume of the fluid lost can be estimated indirectly by determining how much of the body surface is burned. We use the rule of 9 for this method. The rule of 9 method divides the body into 11 areas, each accounting for 9% of the total body surface area, plus an additional area surrounding the genitals, the perineums, representing 1% of the body surface area. Burnt skin is sterile for about 24 hours, but after that pathogen easily invades area where the skin has been destroyed and multiply rapidly in the nutrient-rich environment of the dead skin. Burns are classified according to their severity. First degree burns are superficial, they are not so deep. Second degree burns are superficial partial thickness burn. Third degree burns are also known as full thickness burn, and the fourth degree burn is the full thickness burn with deep tissue involvement. Let's look at the degrees of burn in detail. The first degree burn. In first degree burns, only the superficial epidermis is damaged. The area becomes red and swollen except for the temporary discomfort. First degree burns are not usually serious and generally heal in 2 to 3 days. Sunburning without blistering is a first degree burn. Then we have the degree burn. Second degree burn involves injury to the epidermis and superficial part of dermis. The skin is red and painful and blistered. Because sufficient number of epithelial cells are still present, regrowth or regeneration of epithelium can occur. Ordinarily, no permanent scar result if care is taken to prevent the infection. Next is third degree burns. Third degree burn destroy both epidermis and dermis and often extend into subcutaneous tissue, reflecting their categorization as full thickness burn. Blisters are usually present and burned area appears blanched or blackened. Blanched mean gray and white area. Because the nerve ending in the areas are destroyed, the burned area is not painful. In the third degree burn, regeneration is not possible and skin grafting must be done to cover the underlying exposed tissue. Last one is fourth degree burn. Fourth degree burn are also full thickness burn, but they extend into deeper tissues such as bone, muscles, and tendons. These burns appear dry and leathery, and they require surgery and grafting to cover exposed tissue. In severe cases, amputation may be required to save patient's life. To identify burns as a critical burn, we need to look at the 5 things. In general, burns are considered critical if any of the following conditions exist. Over 30% of body has second degree burns. Over 10% of the body has third or fourth degree burns. There are third or fourth degree burns of faces, hand, feet or genitals. Burn affects the airway or some circumferential around the body or limb. Burns have occurred. So these are the conditions when we say that burns are critical. Skin cancer. Numerous types of neoplasm tumor arise in the skin. Most skin neoplasms are benign and do not spread, metastasize to other body areas. For example, warts are caused by human papilloma virus but are benign and do not spread. However, some skin neoplasms are malignant or cancerous. They tend to invade other body areas. Skin cancer is a single most common type of cancer in humans. The most important risk factor is overexposure to the UV radiation in sunlight and tanning beds, frequent irritation of the skin by the infection, chemicals or physical trauma also seem to be a predisposing factor. Three types of skin cancers are basal cell carcinoma, squamous cell carcinoma, and malignant melanoma. Basal cell carcinoma. The figure represents one of the type of basal cell carcinoma. Basal cell carcinoma is most common and least malignant type of the skin cancer. The stratum basilar Cell have been changed so that they can no longer make keratin, and they no longer respect the epidermis barrier or dermis barrier. They spread throughout the dermis and subcutaneous tissue, proliferating. The malignant lesion most commonly show as tiny dome-shaped nodules that develop into a core ulcer with a pearly beaded edge on the sun-exposed part of the face. Basal cell carcinoma is slow-growing cancer that rarely spread before the patient notice it. 99% of the cases are entirely treated when the lesion is surgically relocated. Next type is squamous cell carcinoma. The cell of stratum spinosum give rise to squamous cell carcinoma cancer. Scaly colored papules develop into the shallow ulcer with firm elevated border as the lesion progress. This type of skin cancer most commonly affect the scalp, ears, back of the hands and lower lips, although it can affect any part of the body. If not removed, it develops quickly and spread to the nearby lymph nodes. UV radiation is also thought to be a cause of epidermal cancer. The chances of a complete cure are favorable if it is identified earlier and treated surgically or without or with radiation therapy. Next is malignant melanoma. Melanoma is malignancy of the melanocytes. It accounts for just approximately 5% of all skin malignancies, although it is frequently fatal. Melanoma can start anywhere there is pigment. Most of these malignancies appear on their own, but some are caused by pigmented moles. It develops as a developing brown or black spot that quickly spread to adjacent lymph nodes and blood arteries as a result of cumulative DNA damage in the skin cell. The chance of survival is about 50% and early detection is beneficial. The usual therapy for malignant melanoma is surgical excision along with immunotherapy. Large lesion may require radiation or chemotherapy. ABCD rule for recognizing melanoma. A for asymmetry, B for border irregularity, C for color, D for diameter, and E for evolution. These are the ABCD rule we use to recognize a melanoma, malignant melanoma. Asymmetry. Any two sides of pigment spot or mole do not match. This is called the asymmetry. Border irregularity. The border of the lesion are not smooth but exhibit indentation. Color. The pigmented spot contains area of different colors such as black, brown, tan or sometimes blue or red. Diameter. The lesion is larger than 6 millimeter in diameter, the size of a pencil eraser. Evolution. One or more of these characteristics ABCD is evolving or changing. This was all about the skin cancer. Next, we are going to look at developmental aspects of skin and body membranes. We're going to list several examples of integumentary system of aging. Skin aging. The skin is thick, resilient, and well hydrated in our youth, but loses elasticity as and thins as we age. Skin cancer is a major threat to skin exposed to excessive sunlight. Balding or graying occurs with aging. Both are genetically determined but can also be caused by other factors such as drug, emotional stress, and so on. During adolescence, the skin and hair becomes oilier as sebaceous glands are activated and acne may appear. Acne usually subsides in early adulthood and the skin reaches its optimal appearance when we are in our 20s or 30s. Then visible change in the skin begin to appear as it is continually assaulted by abrasion, chemical sun, and pores are become clogged with air population and bacteria. As a result, pimples, scale and various kind of dermatitis or skin inflammation become more common. As we get even older, the amount of subcutaneous tissue decreases, leading to the sensitivity of cold. The skin also becomes drier, and as a result, it may become itchy and bothersome. Thinning of the skin Another result of the aging process makes it more susceptible to bruising and other types of injuring. The decreasing elasticity of the skin along with loss of subcutaneous fat allows bags to form under our eyes and our jowls begin to sag. There is no way to avoid aging skin, but good nutrition and plenty of fluids and cleanliness help delay the process. This was all about skin and body membranes. Thank you for watching. If you like my video, don't forget to subscribe for more.